Line unmuted.
What's going on, everybody? There's only a couple people in here. I guess that's what happens when you do stuff for free. But this is Brian Tripp. I'm glad that you guys are here. I've had a couple people tell me that they couldn't make it, but they sent in some questions. So I do have 2 questions that I'll answer, and they aren't here. And then I'll open up the lines if anyone has a question. I've never used this specific program before. I know that there's a way for you to like raise your hand and it notifies me and I can unmute you, but I don't know how to do that, so I may just unmute people one at a time and ask them if they have any questions. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Got a couple people on the line, and I'm gonna answer a couple of questions that were sent to me. So here's the first question I got. He couldn't make it today, so he just sent in a quick question. Is there a way to check for liens on a property? Are there any ways to check for them without spending a lot of money? Okay. So the number one way that you can check for liens on a property is to go through a title company. And then I know that the second part of that question was how not to spend any money. If you are intending to purchase the property, then you can check for liens on a property through a title company, and if you don't purchase it, like say something does come up on the property, then you don't have to pay anything then. If you want to do if the question is you're wanting to do your own title searches, your own title stuff, you can definitely do that down at the courthouse. You can do some of it from your computer, but you can go down to the courthouse and check. You can search the courthouse records. You can go down to the probate. If it's Jefferson County, you go down to the basement and you can search in the records down there in the Jefferson County probate records, and you can see any lien, any judgment that's against that property. You can search that and find that there, and that's kind of the how-to on that is probably a separate deal, separate video. But the answer is yes, you can do your own research. Now, when it comes to the sewer portion, the sewer letter, making sure there are no sewer liens, that you do have to pay $20 to get a letter saying there are no sewer liens. I've never tried to just call them and ask them without getting a letter. You may be able to do that. I've never tried that before. You may be able to just call Birmingham Waterworks Board if it's Jefferson County and ask if there's a sewer lien. So there's that. I don't know how to, if you know how to raise your hand in here, go ahead and do it if you have a question. I don't know how to, I think you hit *5, 5 star, I don't know, but it's not on here. It's nowhere for me to figure that out. So I'm just going to unmute people one at a time. And I just unmuted someone. I don't know if you're there. Do you have a question? I don't know who this is.
Hey, Brian. I think this is Kerry Dodson. I heard it say it was unmuted.
Hey, Kerry. Yep.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Can you?
Hey, one question I wanted to ask you, if you can elaborate on. I saw your video on that mobile home park deal that you did.
Yes, sir.
And you got me to thinking about that. I was wondering, just from a high level, can you cover like the numbers as far as acquisition and what it took to rehab and correct like the utilities and just kind of what it's translated to as far as cash flow goes, if that's not asking too much?
Sure. No, I don't mind doing any of that. It's a really long story. I actually yeah, you're saying you saw the video I did on it. Right. Okay, maybe I need to go back and put some numbers on there and make it a little bit better. Yeah, I'll absolutely go through the numbers. So I mean, it's public record, so I don't care that you know what I paid for it. I paid $760,000 for the park, which was at the time it was about a 10 cap. I just told the owner that I'll pay him a 10 cap as is, like the capitalization rate, which is basically just 10 times net income, yearly net income. And I told him I'd pay him 10 times that, so his yearly net income was around $76,000. And I paid him 10 times that. That's how we arrived at the purchase price. I put very, very little down. He owner financed it. And so I'm going to mute you, Carrie. You got some background noise. I'll unmute you here in a second if you have a follow-up question. So I bought it at a 10 cap. This is what you call value add investing. I recognized a couple of things that I could do to the park to immediately increase the value of it. The biggest problem with the park was the water. So the Birmingham Waterworks board came right up. They put the main meter was on the main road, but everything from the main meter was branched off into the park, and it was and so the park owns the whole water system inside the park. Birmingham Water just comes up to the side of the road. Well, anyway, there were about 30. We identified over 30 water leaks in the first month we had it. And that's the first thing. I knew that right away that there were two things I could correct. I knew that the water bill was out of control. So there was one water bill, it was around $7,500. I got that water bill down to about $3,500. I cut it in half. Got it down to about $3,500 in 1 month. Just by fixing water leaks and then going back and billing the tenants for their water usage. They already had meters, individual meters, but they weren't being read. So I went back and started reading the meters and billing people for what they were using. And what had happened before is they weren't being billed for that, which is crazy because, it's just it's water. They don't have any accountability. They could go out and leave the garden hose running over and over and over and not have any accountability because they're paying a flat fee for water. I think they're only paying $40 when the average water bill was around $100. So if there's 59 units times that $60 difference, that's how much the park was losing every single month in just water. So I went in, that was the number one problem I fixed, and I just increased the value of this park tremendously by fixing that water problem, saving all that money. So if you're gonna increase the value of something, you either need to increase the revenue, which we did, we increased lot rents, or decrease expenses. So we did both. And so I hope that answered your question, Carrie. I'm gonna unmute you again if you have a follow-up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess just as a follow-up, what has that translated to you as far as monthly cash flow?
Yeah, so good question. It went from really the first couple months, really there wasn't anything. There wasn't any cash flow, and then I got it up. It was such a dramatic difference. I'm cash flowing that property about $5,000 a month right now.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's a really good deal. It was one of the best deals I've ever done. It's the best deal I've ever done in real estate. So that's kind of the numbers on it.
Just through your marketing?
Yeah, he called a We Buy Houses sign. It was the craziest thing in the world. And I actually talked. Is there some mom and pop? It's a 70-year-old man. He just called my marketing, and he asked if I bought mobile home parks. This is just kind of a testament to if someone does ask you a question like that, do you do this? Do you do this? Don't ever say no. You want to say, well, let me see what you got, and then go out there and actually see what they have and see if you can make something happen. And if you don't want it or you can't buy it or don't have the money for like this particular guy just wanted a down payment. He needed so much money. And if you don't have that, still secure the property because you may be able to wholesale it.
Yep. That makes sense. Was this your first mobile home park deal, or had you been in it before?
I had studied mobile home parks a lot. I was really, really interested in them when I first started, and so I actually already knew a lot about mobile home parks, but this was the first park I ever bought.
Wow.
Yep.
So it's really fascinating.
It's good, man. It's a good deal. I like mobile home parks that have city water and city sewer, and where you don't own the mobile homes, you only own the dirt. Those are kind of the three keys to mobile home parks. If you can get those three things, you can have a lot of success. All right, man. You got any other questions, Carrie?
I love it. Now that's it for now. I'm sure I'll love to pick your brain on other stuff here in the days to come. But I really appreciate you. First of all, posting that video and then just kind of following up with all that. That's awesome. Really good stuff to know.
No, awesome. I'm glad you got something out of it. Yeah, we'll definitely talk. All right, I'm going to go to the next one. I don't know how to raise hands. and I apologize. I've never used this. I've never used this one before, so I think you're going to get a little message that says, "Hey, you've been unmuted." And if you've been unmuted, then you know it's your turn. And if you don't have a question, just say, "Hey, I'm just here to listen. I don't really have a question," so it's no problem.
Hi, Brian. This is Jamie O'Brien. How are you?
Great, Jamie. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I've got a couple questions actually. My first one's a follow up from the lien conversation. So I've heard and read of people buying properties with liens and then getting those cleared. Can you elaborate on that process at all, or is that too convoluted to really get into?
There are definitely a lot of moving pieces to that. What I would suggest if you're brand new, and really it's still what I do too. I know how to do title searches on my own. I've just learned that, and if you really want to get into that, you can learn that for sure. Just do a lot of studying, do a lot of research, and it's just the more deals you do. Like when you buy stuff like for sale by owner, like we do, like if you're hanging up a bandit sign or you're getting calls from marketing, stuff that's not advertised for sale, and these people are calling you, you are going to end up running into a lot of title issues. Not stuff that necessarily that can't be rectified, but you're going to, I feel like I've seen it all. I know I haven't. But I've seen so much, and the longer you're in the business, you're going to see a bunch of stuff, so therefore you're going to learn how to correct it for the next time. So the easy answer to your question is don't really worry about that in the beginning. Just let title companies handle that for you. That's what they do. They're professionals, and that's what you're really paying them for. And you can really, like I said earlier, they'll do it actually for free if you actually intend to buy the property. But if you're a wholesaler calling title companies, it's almost like calling a realtor to help you find a property. The first one or two they'll help you with, and then after that it's like they don't know if you're ever going to actually close or do business with them because they need to get paid and they're doing a lot of work. So, but I would definitely recommend using title companies the most that you can, and then or learn how to do it, which you can do a lot of Google searches, YouTube searches. Learning how to do it. Do you have another question, Jamie, or did I answer your question?
Yeah, I've got one more follow up. You kind of hit on. So in my business plan is I don't have the time or energy right now to really do my own marketing. So I've been trying to find a deal for about 2 months now. I'm really having a hard time finding anything that looks good. It seems like a lot of the wholesale deals I see are kind of bottom of the barrel stuff. They're May buyers didn't want, and just wanted to pick your brain on really kind of how to find that first deal and get rolling and prove to people that you're serious about this business.
Man, it's next to contractors, that may be the hardest thing, maybe the hardest question, especially if you have a full-time job. If you have a full-time job. And I know what you do, man, and I know that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy to go out there and to do it well and to make good money. And so I get that. It's finding a deal takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. Finding a really good deal. If you want to, in the beginning stages, Jamie, this is kind of more for you. If you want to sit back and try to be a little more passive, and you can still get 80 to 85 cents on the dollar pretty easily, actually. Even through a wholesaler, you could do that. Getting just the steals, like the 60, 65, 70 cents on the dollar kind of stuff, you're going to have a big challenge. And so you just need to get on every wholesaler's list and just know that most of the stuff that you're going to get is going to be, like you said earlier, it's going to, because people have never worked with you before, so they don't know how much you're going to pay. They don't know how serious you are. Most wholesalers, even like myself, I already have my buyers. I'm really not looking for any more buyers. I'm just looking for properties. So get on every wholesale list. Just do it anyway, just so you can really just kind of understand what properties are selling for and what people are buying them for, what wholesalers are asking for. Get on a bunch of realtors lists. I know that you filled out our 205 Realty thing, and we're working on, I'm actually training a realtor right now to specifically work with investors to only try to mine and find deals that are on the MLS for investors. So I'm working on that right now, so be patient with me there. But that's it, man. It is hard. it is really hard, and you just got to stay persistent. If you're really, really, I know your situation. I know you got a lot going on, man. If any extra time at all that you can spend on this business, do it, and do it put it towards marketing. Cool. You got any other questions, Jamie? Did I answer your question good enough?
Yeah, no, that's a good answer, and I'm impatient and I come by, and honestly, I mean, being in sales, I like to just get stuff done. I'm kind of a achiever, so I'm just eager, and so I appreciate that, and I have been kind of driving for dollars, trying to do a handwritten campaign, but I really don't have the time, like I said, to go out and hang signs and deal with all those calls, and maybe as this grows, I'll find a way to kind of delegate that to somebody, but I appreciate the answer there.
Yeah, man, definitely. And then just as kind of just the last thing I'd say is be patient. Be really, really patient. When I first started, I did a wholesale deal kind of right away. I didn't buy my first property. The next transaction I did was I bought a property. But it took about 6 more months because I knew what was kind of a good deal. I've been studying my market. It took me 6 months. Just be patient. I know you sent me that deal you wanted me to look at, and it's not a good deal. And I don't recommend it. Now I know when it's your first one, you're trying to do your first one, that you just want it to happen so bad, and just be patient. That's the best advice I can give you. All right, cool. I'm going to go to the next one. If you don't have a question, just tell me you don't have anything. You're just here to listen. It's no problem. Hey, who is this? Do you have a question? All right, I'm going to move on to the next one. Hey, you are on. Do you have a question?
I was just listening.
Okay. All right, no problem. No problem. I hope you're getting something out of it. And right now, we got about 7 people on here. I got one more. How's it going? Do you have a question? If your phone number ends in, I don't know who these people are. If your phone number ends in 7067, do you have a question? Your microphone is live.
Hey, no, I'm just listening in right now. Sorry, I had myself muted on my side.
No, it's no problem. It's no problem. Yeah, it's no problem at all. That's really it. If no one else has a question, I guess I'm just going to I don't know. I'm going to try to figure this thing out a little bit better. I'm going to unmute everyone for just one quick second, and just to see if anyone else has.
Conference unmuted.
Everybody is unmuted right now. If you do have a question, just let me know. Okay, it's no problem at all.
Conference recording stopped.
Whoops.
Conference muted.
So everybody, I really do appreciate you coming on. I'm going to try to do this for the first month, obviously for just absolutely free, just for being members, and I appreciate you guys that you are members. On February 9th is our next meeting. It's a week from today. I'm going to be speaking on option contracts. I put out a video this morning actually about option contracts. They're really, really, really tricky. And so I hope you guys come on February 9th and try to learn something about them. And if you need to reach out to me, definitely do it. info@alareia.com, ALAREIA. And I guess I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for coming.